Here we go again.
Yeah, here we go again.
Episode
8.
Doing well.
Yep, doing well.
Thanks for everyone who's stuck with us and who's tuned in again.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Good to get some more off our chest and fill some more heads with wonder.
That's right. If you got them, smoke them. Tonight we're smoking a Warfighter 762 Field Sumatra. It's a pretty mild stick, but it's flavourful.
Very flavourful.
By golly, It's got some flavour. Especially these ones. We've been aging these ones for a little while. And like leather. Nutty, like a really sweet, nutty leather.
It's really gone away from that chocolatey that you get in the Maduros and that sort of thing, Yeah,
it's really starting to come to its own in its flavour profile.
Yep. Well, these have been aging for probably 6 months, 8 months, some of them. So they're starting to really mellow and mix those flavours, which is good.
Yeah.
Something that we've touched on but haven't really excelled in yet is aging cigars.
We're not patient enough. We're not even a little bit. You get way too excited. We had a whole bunch of night shifts in my humidor at home, which was the rookiest of errors.
Yeah, we should have put them in the work humidor.
Yeah, we should have put them in the work humidor because they got about, I don't know, they probably nearly had a year on them.
Would have been close, because it was some of the first night shifts that we brought in. We tied ribbons around them so that we didn't smoke them.
And then I smoked one and then just fucking smoked the rest of them. They were so good.
It is such a different, it's just a different way to enjoy the same stick.
Yeah.
You know, I had that one that one of my customers gave me that was a 2004 commemorative, that Canadian one.
Yeah.
I've never ever smoked anything as smooth and like there wasn't those real distinct breakups in flavour.
Yeah.
It was just
and they get like this
blended together.
Almondy flavour.
Yeah, it was really
about them.
nice.
Like, it's just this really beautiful, like toasted nut. I don't know, like people say that some cigars, like this is meant to have hints of nut and stuff in it, but like I rarely get the nuttiness until you have like a really old cigar, like it's got a couple of years on it. And
I think the nuttiness is probably overpowered by your peppers and your real leathery.
Yeah, I reckon. And they all mellow out as that leaf and everything just keeps evolving over time.
Yep.
Yeah, they sort of like mellow right out. So, I don't know. There's an art form. And there's an art form to aging sticks as well. Like,
you
can really fuck them up.
Yeah, you can, 100%.
Or you can, well, I guess it depends who you are. Some people think you can bring them back. But I don't know, like, you definitely can, but whether once they're brought back, they're the same age stick as what would be if they're looked after the whole time.
Yep.
Because the point of aging is that the leaf and all the microbes in the leaf consistently, like, break down all the sugars and stuff, and that's what develops the flavour. Whereas I think if you dry the stick out to the point where it's...
Yeah, if it's hay.
Do those microbes come back?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That would be interesting. Like, we would have to we probably should one day have a fucking cigar expert at one of our cigar events or one of our dinners, or actually have someone that knows cigars, not us fucking smokers of...
We know a lot more than we did 2 years ago.
Yeah,
3
absolutely.
Years ago, 4 years ago.
Absolutely.
It's been excellent, and we're so lucky that, you know, our suppliers...
Oh, John and Scott are fucking awesome.
So knowledgeable and so...
Check out the Warfighter podcast. If you want to... If there's two really good podcasts that I would recommend listening to if you like cigars, the Cedar Creek Cigar Club, or Cedar Creek Cigar Co., Creek Cigar Company is one of them. Those guys are like these really chilled out dudes that run a cigar lounge somewhere in the mountains in America. And then John and Scott, those guys have prided themselves on, of Warfighter, obviously, John and Scott of Warfighter, they've prided themselves on not just being importers of cigars, but understanding the growth, like everything. They're full balls deep. They love it.
Even watching their blogs and stuff on their trips to the factory and to the farm and listening to them, they're not scared to give information out.
No, not at all.
You know, we ask questions every time we're talking with them, and there's no issue with holding anything. Yeah, obviously they've got things they won't put out in the industry. But any questions we've had about the fermentation and the drying and the rolling and how they blend their cigars, it's just fascinating.
They genuinely love cigars. They love the industry, and they've been awesome blokes to us. they had no right being as nice to
No,
to
a
us.
couple of yokels in another country.
Yeah,
that
just randomly knocked on their door one day and said,
pirated their products to get them here, and then rang them and said,
Yeah,
we want more.
Can we please sell your products here, pretty please? So hopefully they don't regret learning
I don't think
our names.
No, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. They'll be all right. Anyway, they're their posters in the background. They're good. They're good blokes. Moving on. Workshop. Busy this week. You
busy? Yeah. We're back on to. We've got a really good workflow happening now at the moment. So it's probably. It looks a lot emptier, but it's in out. Yeah, we're not having a heap of hang-on jobs now, which is good.
Are they just smaller jobs, or are they you just got your
bigger
systems
jobs?
a bit better?
But systems are better, and the bigger jobs that we've had hanging on, we've just been slowly chipping away.
Yeah,
it's like anything. I think it's the same as if you're suffocating in debt. You know, instead of paying $100 into 5 different credit cards, put $500 into one and just knock them off one. Just knock that problem down one at a time.
Yeah.
Which is what we've been trying to do. It ties up a mechanic for 2 weeks, but
it
as soon as they free that bay up and that mechanic, you can
flows it again.
So no, that's been good. Always, as I was talking to you off air, like we're always changing systems and changing approaches and
learning staff, learning personalities.
Yeah,
learning
it was something that came into my head the other day was that it just seems to me like, compared to when it was just me by myself and hiring the first mechanic that worked for me to now, we've had a bit of a turnover of staff. Not bad turnover, but
people
they come and
learning
go. But it just seems to me like it's made my job so much easier, knowing how to approach different people and different scenarios, and getting not the most out of the staff, but also getting them to open up to what I can do to help them excel in their job or excel
communication.
Yeah, exactly right. So
don't be afraid to ask stupid questions.
There isn't a stupid question, and we get that even from customers. They ring with what they deem as a stupid question, but it's far more stupid not to ask and to fuck it up yourself and then bring it in.
But like there's that famous saying, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? And that's like for sales, for asking a pretty lady to have a drink with you. Like, and in business it's more about, you might get a deal that you didn't think you were going to get, or you learn something, or because they ask you that question, you then understand where they're coming from, so then you can service their needs more accurately, and then it adds to a better performance. So everyone just communicating and asking better questions, and especially when it comes down to staff, like you don't know if they're going home gritting their teeth every day being like, I can't wait till I'm fucking done with this place, or geez, I'm loving this, or whatever, or man, I'm struggling with not understanding this turbo system, or fucking
exactly right.
whatever.
We've even gone into. I just had a bit of a sit down with our sort of junior staff this week about. Obviously, it's a big commitment for mechanics to keep up to date with tooling.
Yeah.
Every single year, a new fastener comes out, or a new. They put a starter motor in a stupid spot, and so it's not like, I'm sure every other trade has their, niche jobs, but I would hazard a guess that most chippies, plumbers, sparkies can still get through a job with, there's tools to make the job faster.
How much has the electrician trade changed, really? They need fucking
that's right.
a Phillips head and a flathead.
Yep.
Just not to be colourblind, I think, is your only.
That's the main requirement.
That's your main requirement.
And so we sat down with them, and like the tool allowance from the government for apprentices is absolute garbage.
Shit,
It's $5 something a week.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
And like you're looking at, for a decent set of spanners that will last you your trade, you're looking at over $1,000.
Yeah. Wow.
So if you saved every single tool allowance payment for your whole 4 years,
you're still not buying.
Barely scratching that one set. And so we sat down with them and said, look, this is what we've got in mind. We will invest the money in the tooling as a commitment from us, and then you give us a commitment of, X amount of years of your time. The completion of that, they're yours to keep.
Yep.
If for some reason you don't hang around, they'll stay my property. Yeah. And then I've got tooling here for the next person.
That's true, yeah.
And so that's a big financial commitment for us. Mm-hmm. But it helps my staff keep up and it improves their productivity.
Yeah.
Takes the financial stress off them, incentivises them to hang around and to want to grow their tool set. and not just treat it like, oh, this is just, I'll just scrape by with the bare minimum and get my ticket.
Yeah.
Because then the last thing you want to do is go to another business and have nothing. Yeah. You know, you're really going to struggle. So
it opens your opportunities up, doesn't it?
So we're just going to give it a try. Like, they were on board. I've sort of laid out 3 or 4 different options that, you know, we can do this. If you don't like that, we can look at a reimbursement scheme or a loans. And you guys go home, talk it out, come to me and tell me what works for you. We'll draw it up and we'll action it. So things like that 3 years ago, 4 years, 5 years ago, I wouldn't have even thought of that. I would have just said, you know, fuck you. It's your your own I tools. Didn't get that. But it's not how it works anymore. That's
no, absolutely not. And like you've learned from young fellas that loved it here, but then got offered good money in the mines, like up north or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. And it's exactly what I did.
Yeah, and like I
got qualified and
horses for courses.
And as soon as I had the opportunity to leave and earn big money and set myself up for the future, I took it.
Yeah.
So you can't expect people to.
No. It just doesn't exist anymore. Like imagine talking to someone 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and being like, oh, the average employee stays at a job now for like 9 months. 12 months.
Yeah.
Like how many places do you deal with? Like supplies and that. Like I know for us, like supplies and that, you're just starting to get a decent relationship with someone at the parts or someone at fucking the wax menu, like whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then you ring them up next time. Oh no, they're gone.
Yeah.
Like they just dropped tools and.
How many times with the bank?
The banks. Oh my god,
we go through 6 months of financial planning with a lady or whatever, and then you get your accountant forms ready and you get all paperwork ready and roll in. Where's Heather? Oh, she's been bumped up to whatever Comsec, or she's moved to a different department.
To Clifford Gardens or to fucking, and you're like, what do you mean she's
so now you're dealing with Rachel, and it's like, well, fucking Rachel doesn't know the story and what we've been working on for the last 6 months.
Yeah, we just went through the exact same stuff with our banks. Like the first guy on board us was super excited about the company, was like, yeah, this is awesome, we can do this, I know your story, so I'll back you, all this stuff, really good. And then ring up, he's moved to, management or whatever.
Yeah.
You're now dealing with this guy. It's like, well, can we still please talk to number one? Oh, no, they don't deal with customers anymore. You're now dealing with the new guy who's getting trained.
Yeah.
And you're like, what do you mean? The guy we were dealing with had 10 years experience in this job role.
Yep.
And now we're dealing with the guy who's been here for 3 months. It's like, I'm pretty sure he's not going to have the same.
Well, remember when we set up the Garrison and we were trying to get an account open that we could sell cigars, and we spent how many months with that one person going, this is what we want to do, this is our website, this is all your conditions, this is where we've met them, only to find out 2 months later that someone else in the bank had just squashed it without even telling us.
They
and it's like you ring up and you go, where's such and such that we dealt with? Oh no, he's no longer here. And it's like, well, what do we do now? Oh, I don't know, you'll have to just start the process again.
Mind you, your bank account's shut.
Yeah, you can no longer take money from any of your paying customers.
That's business.
So that's just, and
but it's crazy. It's everywhere in the world now. Like I've always looked at other countries and researched stuff, and there used to be a difference in banking, and there used to be a difference in business attitude and stuff like that in America or in Europe, especially. Europe was really different to here. But now it's it doesn't matter who you talk to, whether they're in Europe, in Holland or in Germany, or England. I was talking to someone from England the other day and talking to someone from America about the same thing, and it's the same thing. They're all marching, and all the banks are marching to the same beat. It's crazy. It's really interesting. The world is getting so globalized now that it's that even the banking systems are starting to congeal.
I caught up with a guy on Saturday who they've just moved over from the UK in December on a sponsorship. So he's a Sparky, so a company in town.
6 tools over.
Well, yeah, that's right. 2 screwdrivers and his wire strippers. And so a company in town here interviewed him, paid to bring him and his family over. And they were like, oh yeah, we'll get a house and we'll get this and that, because he said his words were, the UK's just gone to shit. It's just a third world country, and he didn't want to raise his kids there. Like to the point where he said it used to be you'd get a bit nervous about them playing out the front on dark to the point where you were nervous about them being out the front of the house at all.
Wow.
And so, but he said, they thought they come over here and were shocked how insane our housing and rental pricing and crisis is identical to how it is in the UK. He's like, we were over there like busting our rings to get a little townhouse. Come over here, the money that we've been offered is substantially more, but exponentially
equivalent.
Yeah, he's like, they're in a nice house in a nice suburb, but he's like, what we were expecting was
prices from
it was just
5 years ago. And America apparently is exactly the same. Like people are struggling to find rentals, and and obviously this is region specific. Yeah. If you want to go live in Tara, you can buy a cheap house. But you'd travel to work times going to be quite
2.5 hours from everywhere,
which is fine. Like some people like that, or some people can work from home. So there's opportunities still. You just have to weigh up where you want to save time or money or whatever. Like, so there's definitely, we're not saying that there's no opportunities, but it's definitely getting harder.
You look at the housing market even in Sydney or Brisbane.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, I think the medium house price, of Australia now is over $1 million.
Yeah, crazy.
Madness. Yep. Means like, excuse me, I don't know.
And anyway. That's what I don't understand with, like Albo just came out yesterday and announced that I think they're going to do 5% deposit for new home buyers and no lenders in mortgage insurance at all.
At all, yeah.
Which sounds awesome.
Yeah.
But 5% of $1 million.
Well, they don't do it up to $1 million.
Yeah.
So, well, it depends where you are.
Yeah, that's right.
So for our area, so for the Toowoomba region and the Toowoomba Regional Council, it's $700,000.
Yeah, I was looking at Sydney.
Yeah. Wow, what are you going to buy for less than $1 million in Sydney?
5% is $50,000. If you are struggling to save the $100,000 deposit at 10%, is it just a way that they can force people into the market and then on the assumption they're going to fold in 12 months?
Yeah,
I don't know.
But what are they paying for rent at the moment?
Yeah, that's right.
So I understand that point absolutely, but some people, especially in Sydney and Brisbane, like I know a few, they're paying like $3,000 or $4,000 a week rent.
Yeah.
It's like, so what's a mortgage on $1 million, $1.2 million? Like $6,000 a month,
something like
that. So 6,000-7,000, maybe $7,000 a month, something like that.
And I suppose if you're paying rent and also trying to save that deposit,
it'd be very difficult.
Yeah, but I mean, we had the same issue here when we were trying to buy a commercial place.
Yeah. Oh yeah, commercial.
We'd go to the bank and be like, the repayments on $1 million shed is $3,000 a month less than what we pay in rent. Yeah. We'll pay pay what we're paying in rent. We'll just chop it. No, not interested.
Yeah.
30% up front. Yeah. No, if
10 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, 15.
15
years, it was, but still
15
years to pay off $1 million as well. It's a big commitment.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why there's so many vacant sheds around and empty properties, and there's just
well, like manufacture, like I think it's the price of sheds, but it's also the price of power. Yeah, like if you want to run rates. Like if you want to run a business now, it's especially like obviously we're in manufacturing, you're in mechanic stuff, but like for manufacturing, it's a huge cost to add to your product per hour running of your manufacturing facility. It's gone up.
And if you're automated and you can manufacture round the clock, you're running power round the clock. Like we run a bit of power here from 7 till 7.
Yeah, but you got LED lights, and then your stuff's batteries, so you're charging some batteries, all that sort of stuff. But then
you're charging batteries, but you're not running a compressor as often. Yeah. So like it's not bad.
Yeah. Whereas manufacturing it's just like running belts, running heats. Like for us, we got big vats that like hot water systems, right? So over time we'll go on to solar and batteries and stuff like that. But because water's hard to heat up, but once it's hot, it's very efficient. But you still have to heat them up every day.
That's your big cost.
That's massive cost.
Those hot part washers are like that. Yeah. Like I know guys who got into the massive big rotating hot washers. Yeah, okay. And they'd get in the habit of like they'd turn them off every night before they went home. Yeah. Come in the morning, turn them on again.
take like 2 hours to heat up.
The juice.
The lights go.
Versus just turning it on Monday morning and leaving it at that maintain level for the whole week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good idea.
Yep.
I wonder, we should do the math on that. I never even thought of that.
Yeah, because that's where your running costs come in.
Absolutely, turning things up, like get them hot and cool them down. You're spending money for. Yeah, it's a super interesting thought. Anybody think? Yeah, I guess for us, like, so, it's that's an interesting thought. But for us, we fill one day, pack a day, so you're not pouring anything, and then fill the next day, pack another day, so you'd be running your heater for a day and not using it. So I wonder, it'd be interesting to do the math.
Once you go automated, but like if you can automate your systems, you wouldn't get to a point where you're pouring and packing every day.
Probably.
You know what I mean? Like you could just run that wax all day.
Yeah. Well, you'd probably be able to manufacture enough. Yeah. I think so.
Or what happens to your wax if you just leave it in the vat overnight at that set temperature? Like, will it just maintain?
Yeah, it just stays there. Yeah.
So you could just
But when it's fully automated, you'd be able to just leave it on.
Yeah, just leave it
float on
warm all the time. Yeah. Don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's all like that's the thing. Like that's the thing with business is it's you're always learning. Whether it's managing, you're always learning how to make things more efficient. You're always learning. And that's why we caught up all the time.
Yeah.
And that's why we're obviously good mates, but it was to talk business and to talk about what we're struggling with and what we're... Because you sit there and you think about your own problems. It once again, doesn't matter what you're doing. You get stuck with your own problems and it's hard to come up with a solution. Whereas when you're looking outside at someone's business...
You'd ring me and go, I need to get these... wax melt molds. What do you? And I'd be like, and I've got no idea about any of it. But I'm like, could you try this? And you're like, oh shit, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. And it's like, so it's easy when you're like outside looking into stuff sometimes to get someone. So it's always good when you've got someone close to you.
And that just leads back to the no stupid questions thing, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
You just ask. You just ask the question when.
You know who doesn't learn?
Who's that?
CEOs of fucking big companies.
Yeah. Right.
Whether it's Bud Light. Sig's having some fucking problems at the moment.
Sig's, having some dramas.
And then old Cracker Barrel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was reading that the other day. Actually, Cracker Barrel have decided to remove... They had like Cracker Barrel's a US chain. And
big chain.
Their logo was like an old-timey fella.
Yeah.
On a barrel. Yeah,
leaning against a barrel. Yeah. Leaning against like a whiskey barrel.
And their new CEO came in and said, we want the branding to be... less southern and white was her words. So they removed the old-timey man and his barrel from the logo and lost $250 million in their share value in months. 34% of the company's value just wiped.
God, I bet you she wishes she had someone to smoke cigars with and bounce ideas off before making stupid decisions.
Yeah. And what's SIG up to? Like, I know they're having dramas, but are they any bit closer to resolving their...
No, they're just like full gaslighting now.
Are they really?
They love it. They absolutely love it. And so the story... So the SIG M18s is what started it. But that's the SIG
are a firearms brand.
Yeah, firearms brand
people
for people that don't like
in
firearms.
That industry.
And they won a big military contract with brand new... pretty much unproven pistols, which are the M18s.
Which are a
Striker-fire, magazine-fed, semi-automatic handgun. The civilian version's the P320.
Yes.
And so they released all the P320s and then built a military version on the back of that and won. And so nobody really knows how they won or why. But there's been some... reports of them just randomly firing by themselves.
Yeah, they call
in holster.
They call it like bump fire.
Bump fire, yeah. So or negligent discharge, but nobody's negligent. They're just discharging. And so they pretty much stifled the whole conversation, saying you guys are just slandering us, you hate us, there's no real proof.
Yep.
Turns out there's a heap of proof. Turns out people in SIG
heaps of guys with holes in their foot and like
and their legs. The police have got the heaps of femur problem, like injuries and stuff. Anyway, it all sort of like quietened down, and SIG thought they'd gotten away with it. And then a young lieutenant in the army was handing in his pistol and put it down on the desk to his sergeant, and it was facing the young lieutenant, and it discharged by himself in the holster, shot him, and unfortunately he passed away.
Yep.
So the backlash started again, and then SIG started with their silly shans of saying there's no proof and blah, blah. They're working with the military to do what they can to figure out what the cause was. Turns out, might have been a murder mystery dinner.
Oh.
There's a guy, there was somebody there. They haven't released all the details, so it's still progressing as we're talking about this. So if it's not...
feels like we need to be leaned right in.
Yeah, leaned right in and whisper to each other, yeah. So, like, massive twist in the story. They arrested one of the people who were in the room. They haven't released who it was, but it turns out it might be a homicide. And then they've just blamed it on the SIG to try and get away with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So I was literally watching it this morning, and I was like, oh, Jesus.
That's
so,
a big twist.
So if that death wasn't caused by a bump fire, like a non-wanted discharge,
negligent discharge,
yeah, then like obviously the allegations that was the thing is false. But there's been tons of YouTubes and tons of court documents saying that apparently it's due to I'm not a machinist, but I like machining things, and there's a thing called tolerance stacking. So when you have a really, really intricate mechanical device like a firearm, especially now they're in thousands of inches, like they measure everything, the tolerances are thous. If you have one part that's a thou off and another part that's 2 thou off and another part that's 1 thou off, you're now 4 thou off, which is like a lot.
Yep.
When you're talking about this sort of stuff. And so they're thinking that there's some machines, so they don't know. So once again, this is all developing. So we're happy to change what the conversation is when it comes out. But they're thinking that some of the machines that are making some of the parts that are outsourced aren't talking to the other ones that are outsourced. And when they're putting them together, most of them are getting put together and the tolerance stacking isn't becoming critical. But when they occasionally, the Swiss cheese effect of business comes in, so the Swiss cheese model, like the Swiss cheese saying is occasionally even in a Swiss cheese block, all the holes line up and you can see through a cheese block, but it's very rare that rare. Happens.
Yep.
And so, and in like corporate incident reports, the Swiss cheese things comes up a lot and goes, this only happened because of this guy didn't follow this SOP and this guy then didn't and then this guy then didn't, and the chance of all three people doing something wrong in the same line of job is really rare. Normally someone goes, hey, that bolt wasn't done up properly. The second guy in line goes, the first guy didn't do that bolt up, he tightens it up, it goes down the line, the problem's fixed. But what sometimes happens is nobody sees the loose bolt or the missing bolt.
The second guy signs off without checking,
that's right.
and then it just goes through.
And so they're thinking that this is what's happening in the SIG factories. Most of the parts are going together all right, but if you put a part from outsource part A and outsource part B in the same pistol, the tolerance stack becomes too big. But if you do outsource A and C in that, or A, C, and D instead of A, D, and C, the tolerance stacking then doesn't work.
Does it evens itself out?
So they reckon out of 1,000, as an example, these aren't real numbers, out of 1,000 handguns, 10 of them might have the tolerance stacking problem. And so that's what's happening. So
that's 10 potential blown femurs.
That's right. Yeah. So so in aeroplanes that would be bad. In firearms that's
very bad.
Very bad. Like that's potentially lethal. Like so anyway, so that they think that's the potential issue, but once again, that's not official. SIG hasn't stated that. That's just hearsay. Sort of the hearsay of what's happening with SIG. But instead of, so Taurus had this problem. So Taurus is another firearm manufacturer, and they're cheap firearms.
But they're so fun.
But they're so fucking cool. Yeah, they make some really fun ones. And they had a similar issue. Not really. It wasn't even as bad, but they had a similar issue, and they just instantly recalled them all. Said fucking whoever bought them, bring them in, we'll give you a different one. We've fixed the problem, we looked into it, we fixed the QC, the quality control, everything's good. And everyone was like, yeah, Cool. Yep. Fucking, we didn't know, you didn't know, you're happy, we're happy. And then Taurus, never not a mark on their thing. Everyone, their brand grew. They're now in bolt action rifles. They're doing some precision stuff, which is like good, and everyone's got trust in the brand. SIG, on the other hand, have just said that everyone who's said anything bad about SIG is just trying to get their contract taken off them and all this sort of stuff. And you're just like, man, like at some point...
They're getting to a point where rangers aren't letting... And firearms training schools are like, if you come to the class with a SIG,
you're out.
You'll be asked to leave because we cannot risk, our insurance cannot risk.
Well, it was the same when Samsung had those batteries, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You know, and eventually just airplanes just go, look, we know only 2 exploded, but... Fucking hell, it's a big job when they explode, so we're just not doing it. And then they fix it, but they're not. So, like, bringing it back to Cracker Barrel and bringing it back to, like, just your business and your branding, sometimes it's just good to be transparent. Like, this would have been over it. Like, and nobody would have cared.
Because
Zero
SIG
people
make
cared.
Great products.
Yeah, absolutely.
They make fantastic
and that's why they won the contract, because people had faith that, obviously, the military had faith that they were going to make a really good product because they've got a really good track record of making cool guns.
And see,
I just don't know. Maybe they couldn't afford it. I don't know.
Well, in the automotive industry, when we went to Common Rail Diesel back in early 2000s, it was a thing, and it's still a thing now, but it was a thing. You would fit your new injectors, and they would have a code, individual code on each injector. You'd have to go into the computer with a scan tool and punch in this, what was it, 12, 16, might have been 18 letter number.
Yeah, okay, far out, yeah.
And tell the computer that injector 1, this is its name. And where that came from was when Bosch or Denso or Delphi were making that injector, the machine that precision machined the nozzle and everything like that would check the tolerances for that individual part, and that barcode let the computer know, all right, the pre-injection we're out 0.3.
Yeah.
And so the computer can adjust the fueling to compensate. It's called compensation values.
Yeah, okay.
So that got them around. If you do have that tolerance stack, you're safeguarding yourself because as long as and I've never ever seen it be that bad that it's failed something. Yeah. But they run a hell of a lot smoother.
Yeah, okay.
If you just tell the computer, hey, injector 1, that tolerance there, it should be
it's crazy.
It should be 0.03. It's actually 0.045.
Yeah.
And the computer goes, sweet. Cool. We'll hold it open for an extra 1 millisecond.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, or we'll shut it.
Yeah, or we'll close it. And that just it was just such a German thing, right? It just safeguarded the whole system.
Yeah, but because, like, how ingenious is that? Also, because then you can be like, hey, like these injectors like are not all working together properly. You're going, okay, well, like we'll get what are the tolerances in all the injectors? Oh, geez, all of these are like crazy high ones. Maybe we need to look into it and put some smaller tolerance stuff.
It just gives them another fail-safe and a cataloguing system.
Yeah, that's genius.
So, I mean, probably hard to do on firearm parts when you're outsourcing. To different people.
I don't know. Injectors seems like a whole lot harder thing to mass produce than a firearm would be. Maybe because like it's not hard to like have the barrel. I don't know. I'm not a firearms manufacturer, but
just like shooting them.
I just like shooting them. But it seems to me like you could tag the barrel with the barcode and say tolerance of this machine is 0.5, and then when it all goes to SIG, they can be like, oh, the tolerance of this machine. I don't know.
I suppose the issue I would see with firearms is that you're then adding another unknown in, which is ammunition.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Diesel fuel is diesel fuel.
Is it though?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Diesel fuel at 30,000 PSI is going to atomise to a degree. Yeah. Very similar to where you get diesel. Yeah. If you're running federal versus the dog shit home brand
PPU.
You've got to have
PPU is dog shit home brand, but it is cheap.
You've got to have a tolerance built into your system that will allow that firearm.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, that's your headspacing and all that sort of stuff. But
so I guess it would be harder to catalogue in that aspect because I there assume is a lot they are allowing a little bit of wiggle room for things like
Well, then you've
got
got
point to an FMJ to your pressures are different.
But then have you got a sight on the slide? Have you got cuts on the slide?
Is there weight?
Is there a suppressor on the front of the barrel? Like I guess all that stuff then
We should ring Tom and see if he's back in town.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, he would actually be an awesome guest on the podcast. We should start getting some blokes on here because there's a few fellas interested. So we should actually organise it at some point, and actually get some experts in so that we can bounce off them, so they can pull us up and be like, pull up, boys. You're fucking talking nothing but shit.
They're probably yelling at their car radios right now.
Yeah, well, Tom would be. Tom would be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. So that's what happens when you don't manage things correctly.
Yeah, learn from your mistakes.
And I think the Cracker Barrel one for me just stood out because how many companies have we seen since the whole woke thing started?
Yeah,
flip to the minority and just tank.
Yeah, it's not even like one has done well.
No.
You know who actually, that's a super good point because I reckon the percentage of brands that have done and switched their company mission from an existing company mission that is, like Cracker Barrel or Bud Light, to then make we're all inclusive and not a genuine try to be woke. Like they're not just like they're just trying to do it because it's a fad, right?
Yeah.
I reckon it would be 0% success rate. Whereas the ones that actively aren't doing that now, American Eagle denim
American
would
Eagle
be
with Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, would be killing it now. Absolutely killing it. And the backlash they're getting is getting shut down by other people by normal people being like, yeah, she's hot and she's blonde and she's wearing double denim.
Yeah.
Like this is the American dream.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Yeah. It's not even the American dream. It's just the fucking global dream. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
yeah.
And so that's
just going from strength to strength.
Yeah, they've grown huge.
Yep.
I was watching a super interesting video on Crocs. So, I'm an avid Croc wearer. I believe I believe my feet should be very comfortable at all times. They're good for every terrain.
I haven't found a scenario where a Croc
did not fit. No,
work.
Absolutely not. So it's pretty interesting business, but we won't delve too deep.
This is not the business podcast.
No, this is not the business podcast. But what they did realise was that their target market, and they learned, was the new generation coming through because their parents, when Crocs first came out, their parents bought them Crocs to send them to daycare.
Yep.
And they wore them as kids.
Yep.
And then Crocs realised that there's nostalgic value to that generation that's now 18, that's now in their 20s, going, we just fucking like Crocs because we used to wear them as kids and they're awesome. And so they switched targeting to that demographic.
Yep.
And then they just took off again. They just exploded.
Nostalgia is the biggest seller.
And these companies that are going away from their nostalgic promise, like Cracker Barrel could lean into it.
Yep.
Macca's could lean into it. KFC, a Pizza Hut. I remember when Pizza Hut had all those dine-in restaurants that all look like shit. There's one in Toowoomba, and it's one of the only ones left in Australia. It's rare, but people go there not because it's better pizza.
No, it's shit
because
pizza.
It's shit.
It's like,
the dessert bar is still just as shit as what it was when we were kids.
But
it's fucking awesome. My brother and my sister-in-law came up, and we just took them there because it was hilarious. We just go, remember this?
Yeah.
Holy shit, I can't believe this still. And it was just a super fun thing to do.
It's ridiculous.
And so it's like, instead of leaning into a fad, instead of leaning into something that you don't genuinely believe in, maybe you should look at what your target demographic is. Look at what, like Coke did this the best. So Coke in World War II, they made sure that all the soldiers on the front lines had access to cold Coke.
Yep.
It was a massive thing for them to do. Huge. It cost them a fortune. I'd hate to actually think of how much money it cost them. But what happened was, it was like one of the very few nice things that these poor blokes had. And when they got home, they drank Coke.
Yep.
And then their kids drank Coke. And their kids drank Coke because Dad drank Coke.
Yeah.
And then they go, why you drink Coke? Well, Dad drank Coke.
And that's what we do. Yep.
And so now you can find Coke more places than you can find clean drinking water in the world, which is like a weird fact. And it's cheaper than some places for drinking water. Because they just knew nostalgia would pay off, and Crocs did the same. And I think there's a lesson to be learned in any business or in anything about maybe not focusing so much on trying to be trendy or trying to be the new thing.
Yeah.
Just being true to yourself.
Yep.
And true to what
this is what we do.
This is what we do.
And this is what we've done well for forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I've always seen nostalgia as a big seller.
Big seller.
With anything. You look at you look up the average age of a Pokemon card purchaser. Now is people our age because absolutely. We grew up in primary school with Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
And
I love Pokemon.
Yeah. I've got
Tamagotchis. Remember Tamagotchis?
Yeah.
Tamagotchis.
Well, I mean, they re-released I want to say last year, maybe the year before, the Furbies.
Oh, really?
I never had any of that shit.
Yeah,
I grew up with Homie Brothers, so we never had any of that shit. When we were Christmas shopping, we went out and they just re-released these Furbies, and my wife was like, I had a Furby. We need to get some Furbies, or we need to make that happen. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And she was like, you don't understand how important to my childhood
the Furby was.
Or the Tamagotchi or whatever,
No.
So
it leads me on to. So I did make a note. So I was talking to my brother this week about this, and so it sort of lines into the nostalgia thing, and it lines into this. So there's an old adage of how many times you can replace a part on a thing before it's not the same thing anymore. So the adage goes for the boat. So if you have a boat and you replace all of the boards and the hull and everything in that boat, is it the same boat?
Yeah, right.
So this is the nostalgia thing, right? Like, so you remember that boat.
Yep.
We'll just use a boat as an example. It doesn't have to be a boat. It can be a car or whatever. But you remember fishing on that boat, or you remember travelling on that boat.
The time you got stuck in a storm in that boat.
But over time, you've replaced every single part of that boat.
Yep.
Is it the same boat?
Yeah.
It's not, though.
It's not, but it is. Yeah.
But it is. The memory of that boat's the same. Yep. But technically, it's not the same boat.
Well, I suppose it's like, the house you grew up in as a kid, if it's been sold 3 times, is it still your...
Has it been renovated?
Well, that's right.
Every house, actually, that's super interesting too, because have you driven past like childhood, or are your parents still in the same one you grew?
Mum and Dad are living in the same house Dad bought when he was like 19.
That's crazy.
And it was like a tiny little 2-story Queenslander.
Yeah.
They renovated it when I was I was young. Not even in school yet. They added on a kitchen and closed in the bottom. Outgrew it again. Added on a veranda. Added on again. Like it's just built and built and built up to like it's now 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom, like big house, and there's a pool now. But like Dad bought that house back when he was a teenager.
That's so cool.
And they're still there, and it's still home.
Yeah.
But it is nothing like
what you grew up with.
What Dad bought back in would have been the early 80s, I think. But it's
pretty cool.
It's still, there's trees there that they planted before I was born that are now fucking monsters.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that's cool.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
But like any time we go through Highfields, if we go down the back road, sort of back towards Kubi, Daniel always tells the kids that's the house where me and Uncle Ben grew up, and that was the creek we played in, and then we moved. Danielle's family moved a lot. Like they had a lot of houses.
Yeah.
But she was like, that's still like the house that we grew up in, and she's like, that's where we used to see the koala in the tree, and still remembers all that stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's a weird one.
Yeah, I grew up, I occasionally just drive past the houses that we had as a kid, so we moved a fair bit too. But like, they're different. Like, they're the same house. Like, one of them looks they put some fly screens on it.
Yep.
And that's basically all they've done. That's all
you could still find your way through it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's still the same colour and everything. But you look at it and it's like, doesn't look like home. I don't know. Like, it's just like loses your family's soul, or like your family's like feeling out of it, and someone else puts theirs in it, which is like...
Yeah, I suppose.
Enough, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a super interesting... I always... like, cause, I like to look back at stuff like that and like remember the tree houses and stuff like that, and you go, oh, like heaps of kids now played in those tree houses. Like, it'd be cool to know the story of all the different things that have
telling my kids, like, back when it used to flood the creek below, Gran and Pa's house, we used to ride boogie boards down here, and that's where we used to do this, and like you sort of remember all the little things, and none of it's there anymore.
Yeah.
They reopened the Greenmount pub when I was I probably just got back out of high school.
Yeah.
So it had been dormant. A mate of mine and his dad actually lived in it.
Yeah, okay.
And someone bought it, a developer bought it and brought it back to life as a pub. And they tracked down all these old photos of the pub and had this big opening, and like Dad and all the guys that were last time it was a pub were sort of 18 to 25. We're all there on the piss.
Cool. Yeah.
And they're like, you know, we're walking around looking at all the photos, and like here's old Jeff Horan's old Kingswood.
Yeah.
And it's parked on the western side of the pub facing south.
Yeah, that's cool.
And Dad's like, you know why that was like that? He's like, because Jeff's house, if you drive out of from the pub, is a straight line, and if you miss the turn out of Greenmount, you go straight up his driveway. So he's like, he used to just park the car there, and he just knew to just hold it straight. And if he was too pissed, he'd still. And so like that nostalgia and that thinking back to those times, and we'd sit up in there, and you know, there's an old windmill at the back of the pub there in the car park, and he's like, yeah, we used to. You know, the roos would come down off the hill and eat there, or you know, this is where we used to shoot rats off the bar in the pub. You know, like this sort of thing.
So cool.
And it just brought all those memories back for those guys. Yeah, you know, like it's really cool. Yeah, and it had been dormant for 20 years. It'd just been a house.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, and it's like stuff you wouldn't think to talk about until you're sitting there and it like triggers those memories. Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's cool.
And I think that brings life into those places. Like the Bull and Barley.
Yeah,
still had the old original chiller boxes.
Yeah.
Behind the bar. You know, that hadn't been used in that.
It's still got its hitching posts and everything too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like cool. They just keep and
it's a Cobb and Co bar. Like it's a Cobb and Co pub.
Yeah,
it's from the Bullock team time. Yeah,
yeah. And so if people can keep a bit of that nostalgia there, you'll get those people that are going through town. They might live in Brisbane now, but they're heading through. Oh shit, I remember that place, and they'll wheel in and spend a few dollars.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah.
Talking about pubs. Yeah. Keno. So we were talking about Keno.
We were talking about.
We were talking about Keno. I don't think it was last week. It was the week before, and we asked the question whether Keno exists in other countries. So Keno exists in other countries. Like the brand Keno exists in other countries as well. Like, and so in England and that it exists as Keno. In France, it's a different thing.
Yep.
America
France, they just put the little thing over the
Keno.
Le Keno.
And America has a style of Keno, so it's not the brand Keno, but it's like a numbers picky game, but you can only access it in casinos.
Yeah.
So once again, it goes back to the weird gambling laws of America.
Yep.
But it started in China. The brand Keno didn't start in China, but the concept of Keno, like picking the numbers and stuff, started in China. It's obviously illegal to gamble in China, but they play like the traditional games in China.
Okay.
But in Macau, which is a Chinese settlement, I guess, it's technically a different country, but like, we won't delve into geopolitics, but Macau is the Las Vegas of China.
Yep.
Macau and Hong Kong. So you can gamble in Hong Kong and you can gamble in Macau. But Macau is like literally Las Vegas. So like the whole of Macau exists
just to gamble.
Just as a gambling city.
Yep.
And so it has Keno, which is super cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, the weird Keno Ben's notes. Yeah. Going back and actually following up on some of that. I know we're pretty terrible at following them up, and some of the comments have pointed that out. But we, the Keno one I was actually interested in because I thought that was pretty cool. I thought it was Australian cultural thing, and it is big here.
Yeah.
But it's also big in the UK.
So where did it start? Like the actual Keno brand?
I don't know.
Is it an Australian brand?
I didn't look at that.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't think so. I would say it's an overseas company. I'm not a... like a research student. My ADHD.
You didn't write a paper on it?
I didn't. It's not getting peer reviewed this afternoon. So my ADHD was like, Keno, and then I got distracted. Did something else
cool came up. You probably went off into a tangent on ancient history.
Ancient history. Yeah, you see that new podcast? So once again, like people would talked about the Joe Rogan podcast in the past, and occasionally he just has these. I don't know how he just must be a genuinely curious dude.
I think that's the whole success of that podcast. Is he just says that's a cool topic.
That's super cool, and you're really good at talking about it. Yeah. You should come onto my podcast and talk about it. So this guy,
and you would be mad not to. The platform that he has generated, it would be. There is not a person on the planet who wouldn't increase their market share. I think it would
just be a genuinely interesting experience.
But you imagine like an anthropologist or someone who's in a very, very small,
like a niche,
not trendy field.
Yeah.
That can get onto a platform with multiple million listeners every week.
Well, they've raised tons of money for archaeological sites around the world just from literally having people on there that are like, we need funding for this.
Yep.
And then poof, it's funded.
Yep.
Like someone just listens to it and funds it. His name's Michael Button. He's got a YouTube channel. I would recommend going to watch it because he's one of these guys. It's a rare trait to have these days. He's an incredibly good storyteller.
Yeah. No,
just really good. He's really good at keeping timelines succinct and like explaining his unique thoughts on something.
Yeah.
Really like calmly without being like attached to the idea. He sort of just throws out what his brain came up with.
Yep.
And he's like, this is sort of where I'm at, but he's like not attached to it or defensive about it. So he's just an interesting guy to listen to. So his name's Michael Button. He has been studying ancient civilizations. He did in university and whatever. Do your own research on him. Super nice guy. I believe he's English or
like
that.
He's from that neck of the woods.
Somewhere over there. He found a story on a wheel. There's two super interesting ones that I want to bring up.
Yeah.
A wheel that dates back 300 million years.
Yeah,
300 million years.
They found in a mine shaft.
Yeah, in a mine shaft, yeah. And so nearby, they also found tracks, like wheel cart ruts, that are like 12 million years old. So the wheel's like 300. So it like begs the question, is the wheel 300 million years old? We equate that to modern humans in our modern brain and being super smart.
Yep.
But if the wheel dates back 300 million years, that brings up some like super interesting questions.
Yep.
And like, we've talked about this before. I don't know about how much we've talked about it on the podcast about other civilizations, the cycles of the world, all that sort of stuff. But if people have been doing intelligent things on this planet for 300 million years, that timeline is like my brain.
No, you can't wrap your head around it. And the thing is, and I guess if something were to happen here next week and wipe out 80% of the population, how long would it take to get back to nuclear power and iPhones? And it could take.
So once again, I didn't know this. This podcast is unbelievably good to listen to.
Yep.
At a point in the Bronze Age, so not that long ago, we're talking like before Jesus, before the Common Era.
Yeah.
Not that far before that though. The human population on Earth got down to, they reckon, about 10,000 people.
Yeah, there was a big. They were all around Indonesia.
I think so.
There was a big volcanic eruption
Massive,
or something and killed fucking everyone.
Yeah, changed the climate and just fucking. There was big civilizations that just stopped existing.
Yeah.
So they weren't like, they didn't have sky rises and stuff like us, but they were reasonably advanced.
Yep.
And they just ceased to exist. And literally, there was 10,000. Their estimate. The current estimate is between 8 and 10,000 people on the planet, on the whole planet. And then we've like gotten back to this in like a reasonably short period of time. Well, but if that's, how many times has that happened? Like, that's
exactly
crazy.
Right. And that's you lose sleep over that shit, which I enjoy losing sleep over. But
there's another structure called the Colombo structure.
Yeah,
and it's built. They don't know if it was a house or a bridge.
Yep.
But it was an engineered, built timber thing, but it was like a proper structure. So it means that the people that built it weren't hunter-gatherers; they were settled where they were, and they knew how to build. And it's 460,000 years old. They found it in a bog.
Yep.
So like they previously Göbekli Tepe is the oldest megalithic structure in the world. But that's the oldest megalithic structure that
found.
People argue that Egypt is older, but the mainstream,
the information we have,
the information that we have, they reckon it's not. The Egypt isn't as old as Göbekli Tepe.
No.
And so this then pushes the hunter-gatherer thing back to 460,000 years old.
Yep.
And then the wheel, they could have been hunter-gatherers with wheels. Like But they had a wheel 300 million years ago. Crazy.
But if we went back now to 8 to 10,000 people, or 80 to 100,000 people, how many people would know how to make glass windows?
Oh, like zero.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would
imagine
take so long.
What are the statistics? Like, what are the odds of the guy who knows how to create the internet surviving?
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. And you could lose entire continents of people and all that history. Like, how do we know that Australia's very young, but even if South America got completely annihilated, how much of that history that we call history would survive? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, their stories and their books and their ruins and their buildings may not be dug up for another 50,000 years. Yeah. And then they're going, holy shit, 50,000 years ago they had fucking rubber.
Well, the Amazon we've talked about the Amazon on this podcast before because it's super interesting. But within 100 years, a population of over 1 million people in the Amazon jungle vanished. And it wasn't discovered until like 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yep.
And the Spanish explorers got told lies and stuff. And that was 100 years. Their whole civilization disappeared in 100 years. Imagine what happens in 300 million years, 460,000
was that Michael
years.
Button that was talking about how quickly concrete and stuff would, and even steel would just turn into a molecular level? You know, like
glass,
you would
steel,
find iron
concrete.
and all of the components of
but
steel.
They brought
but you
up
wouldn't find steel beams.
No, so they brought up another really good point in the argument was you would have to know what you're looking for. So you'd have to assume that civilization was building with concrete, and you would have to have the same concrete, and then you'd have to look for that concrete.
Yep.
And so you'd be able to find, or you'd have to be like they were a steel people and they built with this type of steel, and then you'd have to look for that type of steel in the molecules in the ground. It's the same as they talked about, because we're a nuclear civilization, you could find traces of plutonium in the atmosphere in 1 million years, but you would have to look for that exact thing. And so the chances of them knowing what to look for...
And you would have to assume that we were a nuclear civilization.
Right. Yeah, so they might and so this is the argument of Egypt, and this is the argument of Göbekli. Like, we don't know what type of civilization they were, so we don't know what to look for or where to look.
No.
And so, like, in 10,000 years, these people aren't going to be like they were a nuclear civilization with internal combustion cars. This is what we're going to look for. They might have a completely different spin-off of how they move stuff or how they look into stuff. It's mind-boggling. It's so cool. Like, it just really it really drove. Like, I knew the world was old, and I'd known, like, Graham Hancock and all those guys have been the pioneers of really pushing that story about how old civilizations could be, but I don't even think he would understand. Like, I don't even think he would have a story for 300 million years.
Well, they found...
That's crazy.
They found... This isn't in my notes because I was only reading it yesterday. There's a property in Western Queensland. They just dug up a complete fossil of it's a dinosaur, but it's like a dolphin.
Yeah.
In Western Queensland.
Wow.
Fully preserved.
I didn't see it.
It's going to the National Museum in Winton. They reckon it'll be on display middle of next year.
Yeah, we got to go.
It's like 90% complete fossil.
How old is it?
I can't remember now. I read it last night, but I will look into it and bring it up next week.
Yeah, that's so cool.
But it proves that part of Australia was underwater, which it probably would be because Lake Eyre was an inland ocean. So
they found whales in the Sahara, right?
Yeah.
So
and
tons,
shitloads of them.
So it wouldn't surprise me.
There's plant matter on Mount Everest.
Yeah,
there's palm trees, like tree matter,
seashells on the top.
Yeah.
And so, like, it wouldn't surprise me if Australia, the desert, the Simpson Desert and all that sort of stuff would have similar things under it. And, like, it makes you think, like, how many ancient civilizations have been here? Australia is so fucking big. We've explored all of it, in air quotes, for people that aren't watching me do my sarcastic air quotes, because we've driven over the top of all of it. And people have flown planes over most of it. But, like, how much of it's actually been, like, looked into? Like, well, everyone just assumes, and this is not taking any...
And Australia's a weird one. Like, I remember we had a meeting with John and we were talking about the population and the size of Australia versus Texas, and we were like, just have a look at an actual map of Australia. And he was like, holy shit, it's a big place. And we were like, now overlay a population map. And he's like, there's no one 500 k's in from the coastline. We're like, no, it's not like the US where they just went everywhere.
Yeah, but there's like huge desert.
There's obviously people out there, but it's not like it's not a populated area.
I have to have a look at it, but like the population density of your city is like one person to every like 25 square meters or something. It's like a lot.
Yeah.
In the Northern Territory, I can't remember. Once again, don't quote me on it. But it's something like one person to like 10,000 acres or something like that. It's out of control. Area. Yeah, it's out of control, massive area.
And then WA, like there's
WA is the same. There's so much room. Like, and so like everybody assumes the Aborigines here are the oldest civilization here. But they're the oldest civilization that are still here.
And they share DNA with people in the Amazon.
And the Amazon.
It's the only place they've traced the native Amazonian DNA.
Is it?
The closest thing they can find is Australian Aboriginals.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
That's going north into America.
Wow.
All over.
Yeah.
There's genetic traits in those central Southern American nations, like they're I don't know the correct term for them.
Yeah.
The closest they can get is
Australian Aborigines. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Which then raises the question of were they seafaring or was there a land bridge along the bottom? There's a continent that they're not naming it a continent yet, but between Australia and New Zealand there's a massive landmass underwater that is big enough to class as a continent,
Wow. And like if the sea levels were lower, which they very much were way back in the day.
I'm going to look this one up now while you're talking because it's it's cool.
Because like the sea levels is the biggest killer of civilizations, I think, because when you think of our civilizations, and once again we're assuming that all civilizations are the same as our civilization.
Yeah.
But everyone lives on the coast. The coast is the best place to live because you've got access to farming and then you've got access to the ocean.
Yeah. That's where your resources
for trade, for food, for a heap of stuff.
For transport.
For transport. So, like, you look at big cities, they've always got big rivers or lakes run through them. Holland, they built big canals so that they could move through it easier because it's much more efficient to move on a boat than it is to move on land.
Yep.
And so, like, if the sea level, which it has risen since ancient times, it's risen by quite a lot. It's risen so much naturally. So, Egypt's another really good case study of this. The dam there is part of the reason why the water levels have gone up. But even when Flinders Petrie was there studying, so that was in the 1800s, the sea level had gone up in some of the ancient sites that he couldn't access some of the below chambers because they were flooded already.
Yeah.
And so they were clearly building where there wasn't water. They didn't build those chambers underwater, we presume. And if the sea level has risen that much, that continent could have been below water. And they know that there was a land bridge between America and Russia
over the top there, Bering Land Bridge.
Yeah, and that was definitely exposed.
Well, this is just a quick Wikipedia breakdown. You can dig into it as deep as you like, but Zealandia, I cannot pronounce the Maori pronunciation there, is an almost entirely submerged mass of continental crust in Oceania that subsided after breaking away from Gondwana 83 to 79 million years ago. The name and concept for Zealandia was proposed by Bruce Liedick in 1995, and satellite imagery shows it to be almost the size of Australia.
Shit.
A 2021 study suggests Zealandia is over 1 billion years old, about twice as old as geologists previously thought. You can't see it on the camera, obviously, but that's New Zealand, and that's the landmass.
Yeah, so it goes up to North Queensland. It's not directly across. It's sort of like...
And if you look at the original, Gondwana was part of before the continents all separated. It was a big landmass, and that piece of that puzzle sort of fits.
Yeah, but it's underwater now.
Yeah, fully submerged. So there's 1 billion years of...
Is that the Great Barrier Reef?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so
around there,
that looks
from there to New Zealand.
that looks like when you go, like that looks like where the Great Barrier Reef starts because it touches that North Queensland part. Okay, so
and I don't even know where I first...
So it's not even that deep.
No.
Because there's parts of the Great Barrier Reef right in that ocean you can walk on.
100%.
Like it's like...
I've done it. Yeah.
What, fucking 2 or 3 foot.
Yeah,
like
you can stand up to your waist.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so have a look at that if you're interested in weird old shit.
Yeah, so that's not even that much water. Like that.
No. But how do you know there's not... Like no one's flying over it with LiDAR or checking it out.
No.
How do you know what's there?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It's crazy.
Well, like the Great Labyrinth of Egypt, nobody knew it was there until like recently. Like in the early 2000s, they did the LiDAR stuff and found it. All the stories from Plato and all these philosophers from ancient Greece talked about a great labyrinth in Egypt.
Yep.
And everyone dismissed it because they thought it was either a great exaggeration or had been destroyed.
Yeah.
But it was underground.
Yeah.
It's still there. It's just full of water now because the water table's gone up.
Yeah.
But it's like apparently an amazing structure according to all of the stuff. It's like this huge, incredible labyrinth.
Yep.
And apparently it holds a large metallic tic-tac shaped object in the centre of it. Yeah. Dig your teeth into that one.
I think now that we're on video, we should actually record with tinfoil hats.
Yeah, I think so. I think we should make Garrison tinfoil hats.
And aluminium.
So that's one of the guys who invented, or didn't, I don't know if he invented it, that might be too big of a stretch, but was one of the founders of the companies that use ex-military software to do ground-penetrating satellite radar.
Yep.
He died, but that was his description of what they found with his penetrating radar.
Yeah,
was multiple levels up to 100 feet deep.
Yep.
With a grand atrium in the centre.
Yep.
That holds a large metallic item, either a ring or a large metallic tic-tac shaped object.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's
cool.
So it's like everybody, Uncharted X is another really good podcast to listen to. He's mad into
he's
Egypt.
Worse than us.
Yeah, he's like,
way worse.
Well, he's actually been
he's
there.
He's better than us because he's got
way
facts.
better. And he's super factual. He doesn't get carried away telling good stories that don't get in the way of facts. But he has a massive episode on all the stuff that they found with the penetrating LiDAR and all the stories leading up to it and all the, like, I guess, sighting evidence of what it could be. And he does tours over there, and I'm like,
that'd be so cool,
banging to go. Yeah, there's one.
I think it's probably a little bit untouristy at the moment. I think she's a pretty hot location.
Yeah, well,
at
Ben
the minute,
seems to reckon it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Ben's from Uncharted X, by the way, but yeah, he seems to think it's pretty cool. So,
yeah, okay.
Yeah, awesome. Highly recommend getting sucked into it because it will twist your brain. It's so cool. It's very cool.
Before we wrap this up, I guess, or if you got no more wild, deep stories, I did have a funny thing sent to me from one of our listeners through the week. It's not my own work, but it's hilarious. And it was ways to make a man rage. Things to say to a man to make him rage. I just picked the ones that I thought were the funniest. So the first one he came with me with was, what sport would you play if you were athletic?
Thanks, Digger.
You look like you read with your finger.
I most certainly do read with my finger, thank you very much.
You look easy to draw. How good's that? And the last one he sent me is, you look like you can't swim. Wouldn't that just shut someone down at the pub? They're ripping idiot talking shit, mate. You look like you can't even swim.
Yeah, that would be brilliant.
So anyway, anyone who's got anything like that, if you got something that you can say to your mates that
just shut them down.
Shut them down hard. Yep. Let us know. Give us a comment. We'll read them out.
We'll read them out because there are some bangers out there.
Mate, that you look like you read with your finger fucking folded me. So funny.
Imagine someone just like saying that you're having a blue with them. They're like, bro, at least I don't read with my finger. It'd be like, holy shit, you're done. You can't even, you just sound like an idiot. Any retort you have back to that is just going to dig you a deeper hole, I think.
So funny.
No. It's always funny. Like the people are just genuinely hilarious though. Like I think the crying shame of the world currently is that we focus on so much negative stuff, but most people are fucking
just funny
cunts. Like, they're just good and good storytellers. Like, the art of telling a good story is definitely dying, but
it is.
There are some genuinely good people out there that just are good at telling stories.
They are, and you can just, even if you've never been in the situation that they're describing or whatever, you just feel like you know exactly that moment in time, and so that was the little funny that was sent to me through the week, and it was just too good not to
absolutely
reverb that one. It was so good.
So. No, they deserve more attention. The positive stuff needs more attention, and hopefully that's why you guys tune in on Wednesdays or whenever it is that you tune in, for a little bit of a reprieve from the serious. I know we started probably a little bit serious today, but
can dig into it, but we don't want to dwell on it too much.
No, I think once again we're super enjoying it, and I think that's probably
us, the whole goal, and I think that's us for this week.
I think so, and as always, guys, thanks for joining us, and we hope that you're getting like a laugh out of it or something positive.
The comments coming through are so good. We're getting some gold.
Absolute bangers.
And emailing and all the rest of it. It's been great.
It's been awesome. The support, once again, has just been mind-boggling. This week has been especially a big week for that. So, we appreciate it. We appreciate all the feedback. We appreciate the community. Like, you guys are just the best. So, hopefully you guys will come join us for the next one.
Yep.
If you want to reach out, the Garrison Cigar Club, the Garrison Supply Co. Cigar Club, Jesus Christ, Ben, on Facebook. If you want to email us directly, not on a public forum, admin@thegarrisonsupplyco.com.au.
Just comment on any of our stuff.
Comment on it.
Drop it. It doesn't even have to be relevant.
No.
We do read as many comments as we can and get back to people that we can. So
absolutely. We love it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
We're looking forward to continuing to go.
Yep.
All right.
See you next time.
See you next week.